Edition of the No Subs podcast. Today we have a guest, Pedro Bradshaw. He played his last 2 years at Bellarmine University. Is it Bellarmine University? Yeah, right? He averaged 16 points per game and 7 rebounds. He just recently declared for the NBA draft, and he attended the Myrtle Beach Pro Combine, where he we spoke to him a little bit beforehand, and it seemed like he had a great run there. So we'll definitely be hearing more from him after this podcast. Before he comes on, we're going to talk a little bit of hoops. We got the Hawks-Bucks tonight. No Trae Young. That just came out in real time right now. They don't have a shot. This one's over. So we have the other one's over. Suns and 6. Suns and 6. So it's going to be a Suns-Bucks NBA championship. This will break records for the least viewed NBA championship of all time.
I'm tuned in. I'm watching.
You're tuned in. I'm tuned in. The average American viewer is not tuned in. The average American viewer doesn't know who Devin Booker is.
That's a damn shame.
They don't. They know who Chris Paul is. They're going to be surprised he's still in the NBA. Somebody who doesn't watch the NBA a lot. They're like, oh, this guy Chris Paul. Everybody from Greece is going to be watching. And then only, hardcore NBA fans and degenerate gamblers will be watching this NBA finals. That's it. That's it. If your team, if anybody from LA, they lost all of LA. They had a chance at the Clippers and the Lakers, and they got neither of them. They didn't get the Knicks. The NBA it's over.
Did you see that tweet the other day about the NBA having magnetic rims?
No, I didn't see that. What was context?
What
do you mean?
I don't know. Giannis hit some BS layup, and the spin of the ball was messed up, and someone was like, "You can't tell me the rims aren't magnetic," and they went into this whole science. I was like, "All right, bro, you're dragging it."
Yeah, there's plenty of conspiracy theories going on with the NBA, but I think they've all been proven not true after we see that it's going to be a Bucks Suns NBA championship. I think that's their worst nightmare. I hate to keep talking about it, but I just really can't get over it. College basketball news. Do we have anything? We have. Last week we talked about the mock draft. This week we actually get the lottery order. So let's take a look at what's going on. Pistons with the first pick, and so Cade Cunningham headed to Detroit. Probably will never hear from him again. That's where we'll hear about Cade Cunningham. He'll average 20 points a game, 8 assists for the next 3 years. Won't make a playoffs, and then he'll be on rather the Clippers or the Lakers or the Heat. That's what's going to happen there. The 2 pick, that's going to be interesting. Who has the 2? The Rockets. So Jalen Green or Mobley will go there.
I love James Bouknight from UConn.
So do I. That's a sleeper. That's a big-time sleeper. I know I gave my 2 sleepers out last week, Sharif Cooper and Josh Christopher, but yeah.
They said Sharif is 6'3".
Sharif Cooper?
Mm-hmm. They
He's
said he's 6'3".
6 foot in heels.
It's probably because of his hair.
3, so it's going to go 1 Cunningham, and then 2, 3, 4 is going to go rather Mobley, Suggs, and Green. And then 5's going to be Kuminga. What's that?
I love Jalen Suggs.
I love Jalen Suggs too. Do you see him as an NBA player?
Depends on where he goes.
That's true. If he goes to a team that's if he goes to the Raptors at 4, Jalen Suggs is going to have a good career.
Yeah.
If he goes to the Cavs or the Rockets, we may not hear from him. He might be I don't have it. He might be like Kid Gilchrist.
Not be that bad because he's under John Wall.
Yeah. They're not going to draft him. They're not going to draft him. He's not going to. They're getting Jalen Green. That's their only hope because he's potential of being a superstar. The other guys are probably going to be really, really good role players. Scotty Barnes at 5 is what I'm hearing instead of Kuminga, actually. Scotty Barnes, a lot of hype coming out of high school, Montverde. And then when he got to Florida State, you kind of didn't hear from him at all. That's a big question mark. But yeah, finish it up. Knicks obviously no. Have to throw some Knicks stuff in there before we get. Knicks don't have. When's their first pick? Their first pick is the 19th, where we're gonna get Sharif Cooper. That's what ESPN is telling me.
I saw a hypothetical trade for Dame. It was Dame.
Yeah, I saw this.
RJ
for the entire team in their next 30 picks, right?
RJ, Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quickly,
two first rounders, 2021 and 2023, and then you swap the 22 and 24 picks.
Yeah, no thanks. I'll pass.
That is absurd.
I'll pass. I'll live with the 6th seed for the rest of my life instead of taking Dame.
Dame's one of those guys you have to give up that much because otherwise it's not worth it. But at the end of the day, no team is good enough. They have to have like no team besides like the Lakers or the Clippers or like the Bucks are good enough to get him and then win an NBA championship. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Or the Sixers, actually. The Sixers can make a move Ben Simmons in like the next 30 years of picks. That's not a bad move.
Bottom line here, Suns and 6.
Yep. All right. We got Pedro coming on in a couple seconds now. So we're going to split. We'll be right back with you after the break. Before that, this episode is brought to you by Premier Basketball New York, the largest and best AAU program in Suffolk County. So if you're looking for a new home, head over to Premier Basketball New York. All right, we'll see you guys after the break. Thank you. All right, everybody, welcome back to the No Subs podcast. Today we have Pedro Bradshaw with us from Russellville, Kentucky. Pedro, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's good, y'all? I appreciate y'all having me on, man.
Yeah, happy to have you on. I'm just going to give you a little introduction here. Pedro played at Belmont for 1 year right out of high school. Then he moved over to Eastern Kentucky for 2. Finished up his career in Bellarmine for his final 2, where he was first team All-ASUN, led the team in scoring at 16 points per game and also rebounding at 7 rebounds per game. He just declared for the NBA draft in April, and he attended the Myrtle Beach Pro Combine in preparation for the draft. So we got a guy with a lot of experience, another pro combine guy. Last week we had Luke Petrasic. This week we got Pedro. So Pedro, right off the rip, you're coming off the NBA Pro Combine. What was that like for you? Was it intimidating? Just take us through that experience. What were the big takeaways?
Honestly, it was a really good experience. I'm not gonna lie though. The first day we got there, you fly in the day before, you get settled in, meet your roommate at the hotel and everything. And the very next day, they bring you in and everybody's sitting together, give you your jersey and your gear and stuff. They give you a rundown of what's going to happen. And, man, I was so nervous. I was so nervous, man, because, I'm confident in my game, my abilities. It's just that I didn't really know what to expect. And I'm in here with all these high major guys. And a few of the guys had played a year of pro ball, so – I really didn't know what to expect, man. So I got into it, kind of got adjusted, got into the flow of things. And, like I said, started getting my confidence and I played really well. I made the all combine team. It was really fun, man. Jim Boylan, who was the coach of the Chicago Bulls the past 3 or 4 years, he was my coach at the camp, and just learning from him and just, learning the terminology on both sides of the ball. And he gave us certain sets that he ran with the Bulls and things like that. And hearing him, give us quotes and stories from like Zach LaVine and Kobe White and guys like that. It was really fun, and we had other coaches there. Mike Bibby, he's a legend. Got to talk to him for a little bit. He's swole.
He's a big Bibby now. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man. His son was there, man, playing too. And I asked him, I said, man, how your daddy get so big like that? Like he
Wait, how old's
now.
His son?
His son is 22.
22. I remember playing against him. That sounds familiar that he had a son my age. So yeah.
Yeah. I think he just finished up at Appalachian State.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. I think I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, man. But his son told me that he right in front of Bibby, because I asked Bibby and we was getting food at the time. So he got like 3 plates, loading them up. So he ain't paying me no attention. I was like, hey man, how your daddy get so big? He's like, man, that dude works out 3-4 times a day for 4 hours. I said, ain't no way. But no, it was good, man, seeing guys like that. And Coach Ty Ellis, who was G League Coach of the Year 2 years straight and was on the interim staff with Earl Watson for the Suns. And he talked to me about my game and what he liked and what he saw. And talking to me about Marquise Chris and working out and being around guys like Josh Jackson. So it was really fun, man. It was a great experience, and being around all the guys and some of the guys you've seen on TV playing on ESPN, that type of thing. And like I said, some guys who were highly touted out of high school that you're looking over and seeing. Like I had Corey Sanders on my team. And growing up, you in middle school, high school, you looking at home team hoops, he on that jig and everything. So that was cool, man, just to have that,
Yeah.
What was it like to be able to pick those guys' brains, like you said, Mike and all those other guys, Jeff Boylan? What was it like to be able to pick their brains and just be able to learn from them for that couple days that you were down there?
It was huge.
Takeaways.
It was huge, man. The biggest thing, and we learned so much in the few days that we were there. The biggest thing that I took away from all of that was Coach Ty Ellis telling us, he asked us like how to add and bring value to a team, because he was giving examples like, well, hell, everybody can shoot. So what can you do? Everybody can rebound. We got guys for that. Everybody's athletic,
Mm-hmm.
He's like, so what's the other things that may not show up in the stat sheet that you're going to bring to a team, whether it's your energy, your leadership, you talking on offense, defense, studying film, just certain things like that, and those are some things that I've thought about, but you never really do it or like hone into it until you get to this level. Cause like you said, everybody can do everything. If there's not a guy that can shoot, there's a guy that can do this, and there's a guy that can pass, there's a guy that can do this and that, so you really have to learn how to add value and make yourself valuable in order to get yourself on the floor and keep yourself in the league and have some longevity.
Mm-hmm. You talk about like moments like, the combine where you said you're seeing big names left and right. You're seeing coaches that you're familiar with. And obviously, like you said, you're nervous as hell right before it. Do you feel as if like in moments like that and in bigger games where there's pressure on the line, is that when you come out? Is that where you play the best?
Of course. And like I said, it always takes me personally, like a second, like a few runs up and down the court to kind of like get comfortable and like, okay, I'm in this now. Feel me?
Get your second breath in, yeah.
Yeah. So it was really good, man. Like I was nervous. I could tell some of the other guys were nervous too at first because I won't say his name, but he averaged 20 this past season. Mm-hmm. And we're just shooting around, like running through our sets and stuff. And I seen him airball twice. So it was, but like such and such this past year, I can't trip off that, Yeah. So I just learned to kind of just, be loose and just have fun and enjoy myself. And that's, like I said, how I got comfortable and ended up doing my thing.
Mm-hmm. So let's go back looking at your high school. Your high school records are kind of pretty impressive. You scored almost 2,000 points in high school. What was it like playing in the Midwest where basketball is really like the main thing?
It was big, man. It was really big. Coming up locally, I got a lot of recognition locally just because, like you said, I had played AAU and I was getting a lot of offers and everything. And our area was filled with so much talent, but I was like kind of like the cream of the crop, in my area and in the state. I was top 2 player in the state. The guy I was behind ranking wise was Mr. Basketball, Tay Hollingsworth, who just finished up at Western. So it was a lot of fun though, man. Had some great memories, man, and some great moments. And the basketball camp I just had, I held it at my old high school. They helped me out there, my old assistant coach. So they've been nothing but good to me, man.
What was that whole recruiting process like in high school, being a high-level player? Was it kind of overwhelming for you, or did you enjoy it?
It was a little bit of both. At first, man, when you getting everybody calling you and hitting you up, texting your phone, it's like, man, Kansas State just hit me up, Xavier just hit me up, Louisville calling my phone. And then as it kind of keeps going, you're like, dang, man, because you don't want to burn bridges, but sometimes it's schools that you're not really interested in. Yeah. But they're interested in you, so they're constantly hitting you up, and that type of thing gets kind of overwhelming. It's kind of like when there's some females that you ain't really attracted to, but they keep blowing your line. You feel me? So it's like that, but you don't burn bridges because you never know where you could end up at the end of the day, So, but it was a lot of fun, man. I went to the NBPA Top 100 camp too, and that kind of helped my recruiting a lot in a lot of ways too. But I ended up committing early, so I got a lot of interest from that. But it was obviously didn't last too long because I committed not too long after the camp. So.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to college, you're a guy that bounced around a little bit and then eventually found his home where he was able to excel. And that's a lot like pretty much everybody that we've had on this podcast. Somebody who's bounced around a couple of times, found their home, and just proven to everybody that this is who they are. This is the type of player that they're, who they are and with what they're capable of. Do you have any advice? This is what we ask everybody that's came on. Do you have any advice for somebody who might be struggling right now, might be down themselves, saying this might not be the place for me, and might be wanting to make that next move?
Honestly, this was something I literally had to learn, was to run your own race.
Mm-hmm.
Run your own race, man. It's easy to compare yourself and what you're doing in your game to what other people are doing. Like, for instance, my thing is the reason why I transferred is, one, I feel like I should have been playing, but it was more so I felt like I should have been playing because I'm seeing Tavion Hollingsworth killing at Western as a freshman. My boy Terry Taylor's killing it as a freshman at Austin Peay. My boy Taven Lovin's killing it at UAB as a freshman. I'm like, dang, I can hoop too, like, so. And it's not hating. It's not hating or anything like that. Like, you want to see your brother succeed. It's just like, dang, like, they're doing their thing. I want to be out there too. Like, I deserve to be out there, but I had to realize that they were in situations where their coaching style and their roster was constructed for them to play right away. Mine wasn't. I was coming into a team that was veteran led, and they had 4 seniors that year, 4 or 5 seniors, multiple redshirt juniors, guys like that. So I wasn't thinking like, okay, well, Dro, just wait your turn, man, because after they leave, it's all you. I wanted that instant gratification. Yep. And, ultimately everything ended up all right. But, I maybe could have stuck it out and seen what could have happened there.
I love how you use that word instant gratification. There's a lot of guys now that think, they see because of Instagram and because of social media, everything's broadcasted. So when they see their friends, especially that go into a place directly, start playing, start putting up big numbers, they think that that's what has to happen for them too. But really, it's, it's a tale as old as time. You go to a place, you pay your dues and then you become the star that you were meant to be. And a lot of guys, I think, now rush into it and get overwhelmed and go from place to place, which, might not be a bad thing. And fortunately for you, was the right decision where you found your home. But yeah, I like how you brought that up. Pete, what do you got?
I was going to ask you what led you to coming home and playing at Bellarmine. Like, what went into that decision and what put them over everybody else?
Being honest, man, I had a really close relationship with the assistant coach, Doug Davenport, the head coach's son. And he actually offered me my scholarship in high school at EKU. He was on the staff there. And then a year or two later, he ended up coaching with his dad at Bellarmine. But so I knew him really well. So after, I had the meeting with Coach Hamilton at Eastern, I hit Doug up immediately, and said, hey, man, like, I'm transferring, this and that, yada, yada. What are you guys looking like next year? Do you need somebody? And he instantly was like, yeah, we need you, man. We're losing this, and that, and we're losing our best player. You could have a chance to come in and fill his role. And all I got to do is talk to my dad, but I know he's on board. We've seen you play in AAU, this and that. It's close to home. I got family here in Louisville, a lot of friends and everything, guys I played AAU with. So, it's kind of like a no-brainer. It didn't take me long for me to find a home in Bellarmine.
So did you know that you were going to have to play a year at D2 and then they were going to make that transition?
Yeah, I knew. I got a whisper that they were going to be going D1. But honestly, I thought it was the perfect situation for me, being as in 2 years, two and a half years, whatever, I hadn't played really much college basketball. So I was like, okay, well, let me go Division II, get my feet wet, have an opportunity to play real minutes, get my feet wet. Then next year, the year after in D1, I'll be straight, be able to really showcase what I can do,
Yeah.
So I think it all kind of worked out how it's supposed to.
Yeah. So
what do you got?
Oh, no, I was just going to ask, like, looking back on your journey and everything, would you change any way that it's gone?
It's I don't think I would, man. Now, I've honestly thought about how different things could be or could have been if I had stayed at Belmont or if I had been able to stay at EKU. But man, I have met so many amazing people, made so many great relationships, based off of the domino effect of all these changes, So I can't honestly say that I would want to go back and have it a certain way just because everything that I've done up to this point, if I would have stayed, maybe it would have been great. Maybe it would have been bad. Maybe I would have been sitting a whole nother year. You just never know, man. Like the people you meet, I think the relationships that you build, I think that's been the biggest thing that makes me say, no, man, I made the right decision. I'm where I'm supposed to be,
Yeah.
All right, to move on to some segments here. First one we got for you, we do this with everybody. Whoever you can think of, off the top 5 players that you played with or against. Take a second.
Okay.
I know it's tough.
It was very tough. Zion Williamson is up there. He's number 1.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Number 1. Yeah.
Who'd you play against?
Yeah, Zion. John Moran is probably next. They were on the same
another good one.
Yeah.
Same AU team, right, in South Carolina.
Yeah, I played against Zion when they were together playing for the SC Hornets, and I also played Zion at the Top 100 camp. Crazy, man. So those two, Remy Martin, he's tough.
Where did he just go? He just transferred to Kansas, right?
Yeah, he was at Arizona State the past few years. Yeah. Who else? Romeo Langford. I got to throw him in there. Okay. Rome is tough, and he's from this area. And number 5 is real tough. There's so many, man. Probably either Raekwon Gray or Luka Garza. Those are tough ones, man. Those are tough ones.
That might be the best top 5 we've had. Pete, what do you think? It's not even close. Right? I think that's a pretty good one.
I think the number 1 and number 2 draft picks put me over the top.
They put you on the top. And then the best player, maybe top 10 player in college basketball history in Garza too.
Right.
That's tough. All right, moving on to the next one. We got your most memorable moment in high school or college. Either one. What's that one statement game or that statement moment that you had that really, you hold strongly to this day?
High school, I would say my junior year, I got a 25-point triple-double, only triple-double in school history. College, I would have to say the first win of the Division I era, just because everybody played really well that game. Howard had a solid team, but everybody played really well that game, man. And just the feeling in the locker room, guys are throwing and spraying water bottles and stuff. And, it was just really fun. We gave the game ball to our athletic trainer who had been through a lot, due to COVID. He had a lot of weight on his shoulders with that. So I think that game was huge, man. I think that was a lot of fun. That was my most memorable moment in college.
Yeah, a statement, emotional win. Yeah, that's awesome. Actually, I watched highlights of that. When I found out that you were coming on, I wanted to get some background. I watched the highlights from that game. Yeah, that looked like a special team. It looked like a team that was playing for each other. So
definitely
threw that in there. All right, next one we got pregame playlist. Who are you listening to?
Pete already knows, man. Man. I got a set 10 to 15 songs that I would listen to every single time before the game, and I've kind of done it since high school. The songs always change because you got some new stuff that comes out, but the last song I always listen to is Sessions by G Herbo. I don't know what it is, man. That one turns me up, man. I love that song. Now he got another album coming out in a couple days.
When's that come out? Yeah, this week, right? Thursday night.
Friday? Yeah. So I'm hoping there's one that can replace that. But no, that Herb is definitely the go-to, man.
Yeah. We got 2 more for you to move on from that. One guy, or give a couple examples. Who do you model your game after? when you were little or even now? Who do you look at and you say, I want to get his bag. I want to look, I want to work on my game so I can look like him.
Right. Honestly, man, the guy I've always watched is Brandon Ingram, him and Sean Livingston.
Okay.
Those are two that I've always tried to like take bits and pieces from. One, Ingram, just because, his size and his length, he's long, he can do everything, man. The way he scores out of the mid post and the mid range, and his 3-point ball is coming along too. Sean Livingston, same thing, mid post, mid range. He's long, semi-athletic, man. He can do everything. He was the second coming of Magic Johnson at one point in time. But I've learned that as you continue to move up, like for me, for my game now, in certain situations, I might be the man or one of the guys, depending on where I'm at. If I'm in the league or G League, I'm probably going to have to change my game up, which is I can do everything. You're not saying it like that, but so if I'm in the league or G League, I'm probably going to have to be an all-around guy that just kind of an energy guy, kind of like Juan Toscano Anderson. That's a guy, or Corey Brewer.
Yeah.
Those are guys I try to model it after if I'm over here. But if I'm overseas somewhere and they're like, all right, we need you to be the guy or one of the guys on the team, then I can get my Ingram or Sean Livingston bag, that type stuff. So it kind of differs depending on what system and what's expected of me.
I like how you brought up those two guys because, some people come in here, they say they want to model their game after Kevin Durant. They want to model their game after LeBron. You can't be those guys. No matter how hard you can't be those guys. So I like how you gave in realistic options, somebody that will help you get better by watching their game, somebody that's, more realistic in like your archetype. So I know Pete likes to ask the last question, so I'm going to let him take over. Pete, end it for us.
First person to ever really give you to work, like first person to really ever kill you.
It's a lot, man. I ain't no defender.
Yeah, it's time to put away the pride.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Coming up through AAU, I was always asked to guard the best player because I can guard, man. If they really say, hey, man, we need you to stop this dude, I can really lock him. But usually I don't really care about that because I'm trying to get mine too, But no, I guess it would probably have to be Romeo Langford or Chris Wilkes. Chris Wilkes was tough too. Chris Wilkes, we played him in the Kentucky-Indiana All-Star game, and both games he had 30. So
where's he at?
He went to UCLA for 2 years, and he ended up. Okay. He entered the draft in 2017, 2018, something like that, and he went undrafted and played with the Knicks G League team for a while. I think he's hurt. I don't know where he's at now, but in Rome, he's obviously with the Celtics. So I remember when we were in 10th grade, we were playing his team. He played for EG10, and I had to like literally face guard him the whole time. So I don't remember how many he scored, but I knew I was face guarding him. So, you take from those two stories what you will.
So how do you think your game, we kind of touched on it already, but how do you think your game's going to translate to either the G League or overseas? Like how's your game translating to the pro game?
Man, like I said, my game, my grandfather always told me to never be one-dimensional, because you want to make sure that you can do everything. That way it's hard as hell to keep you off the floor. Yeah. So I've always been able to do everything. I work on everything, spot up shooting, coming off screen shooting, ball handling, playing out of the pick and roll, scoring, post up, defense, being able to guard 1 through 4, 1 through 5, whatever. So if I'm in the NBA G League, like I said, man, I'm trying to be a high energy guy, being able to knock down shots. If I got to stand in the corner and wait 20 seconds till you throw it to me with 3 or 4 on the shot clock and shoot it, I'll be that guy, man. I'll go in there and get you some rebounds. I'll guard 1 through 3, 1 through 4, whatever's needed of me, man. And like I said, if I need to be the scorer, I can be the scorer. you know. So it's just whatever the system is, whatever is asked of me, man, I'll be able to do it. So I think it's harder for a lot of guys to be able to do that. So I think that'll really help me in a lot of ways. So.
All right, before we wrap up here, we're gonna, obviously we're gonna go back and edit this, so this won't come out until tomorrow night probably. But we obviously got the Hawks game tonight. Can you give us a prediction? No Trae Young, and we'll come back to it and we'll see if you get it right.
The Hawks I think the Hawks are gonna go down, but they're gonna give it a good fight, man. Just because, yeah, they ain't got Trae, man, so they're gonna try to give it all they can. But Giannis and Chris Middleton, man, that duo is tough. It's too tough for them to handle,
especially for a young team like Atlanta.
Yeah, man, but I think they've exceeded a lot of expectations, man. So them going out this round, I don't think they'll be too upset.
They broke my heart. I'm a huge Knicks fan. They broke my heart.
We're Knicks fans. We weren't happy.
Yeah.
At least y'all made the playoffs this year, though.
At least we had something to look forward to. Pedro, I really appreciate you coming in. Everybody that hasn't heard of Pedro Bradshaw yet, I guarantee you that after this combine and once he gains his name out there, whether it's in America or if it's overseas, his name's going to be known. So Pedro, I really appreciate you coming into the podcast. You got anything for us before you leave?
No, man. I just really appreciate y'all having me on, man. I know it's a little late, but we got it done. So I appreciate y'all, man.
Appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.